Well, if Dabo needs any motivation, and I know he's always looking for something to keep Clemson as an underdog, the ESPN FPI was just released like in the last hour. I'm checking it out right now. Clemson at number 8.
Yeah, I saw that right before we jumped on here. Yeah, he's always looking for stuff to motivate those guys. He always seems to know which buttons to push at the right times, and I'm sure he will figure out some way to use that. Where was Florida State?
Florida State's at 13.
Well, I was kind of wondering if Florida State was a little bit higher than Clemson. But
Florida State at 14. So somebody had it listed at 13, but it's 14. I'm looking at it right now. Okay.
I've never been a huge fan of the FPI. I'll never forget the Orange Bowl when Clemson went to the playoff the first year. Clemson beats Oklahoma by 20. The FPI, after that game, still had Oklahoma ranked higher than Clemson.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of, it's one thing if a 7-4 team upsets an 11-0 team. Okay, you can still keep them in their place. But when you're talking about two teams that have basically the same record or a better record, yeah, the head-to-head should just be, they got to weight this system differently. What I remember about the FBI, I remember a ton of inaccuracies with the FBI and things that just didn't make much sense. I don't know why I didn't drive a Brinks truck to Vegas and back it up somewhere, because this was about 3 years ago when Ohio State was just rolling through the Big Ten. And for whatever reason, I think they lost Justin Fields. They had a inexperienced quarterback. They gave them a 6% chance of winning the Big Ten and going to the playoff. And I was like, what universe are they in? Like, if you could play 100 Big Ten seasons, Ohio State's winning 6 of those. Seriously.
Yeah, I hate the FBI. I would love to know that formula they use, but they're never going to tell us what that is.
I've always heard that it has a lot to do with, if you've got a coaching change, they're automatically going to ding you. You could bring in Nick Saban, but they're just going to automatically ding a coaching change, which I get to a certain extent. And if you lose your starting quarterback, you take a big ding there. But at the same time, I'm thinking Ohio State's about as vulnerable as they've been in a long time, and they're number 1. So I don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah, I have no idea how that thing works. I would love to know the formula. It's just some of the way those things end up coming out sometimes, they tickle me.
And the other thing about it, Jason, is I understand if they're trying to match up, okay, this is how good we think the team is, and then we're going to match it up against the schedule. You could be playing this Murderer's Row. We think you're a good team, but because you're playing Murderer's Row, we project it to 8-4. Or vice versa. You got an easy schedule. You're really not that good. You're a top 15 team, but we're going to slot you up to number 7 or 8 because we think your schedule's easy. But the way I understand this is supposed to just be, these are the best teams in the country, 1 through 131.
That's the way I take it too. So, I mean, I think me and you read it the same way.
All right. And then they put it through the schedule. Then they've got this record projection, and that's a whole other thing, which is different than necessarily, because, for example, they've got LSU with a higher FPI than Texas, but they've got Texas with a better record. Obviously, they believe LSU in the SEC is playing a tougher schedule. So I get that part of it. But just in regards to a projection, boy, Kirby Smart's going to be talking to his guys today, I think. They're at number 3.
Wow.
Bama's at 2.
Hey, and I thought Bama was susceptible this year, so what do I know?
And this Texas team, they're the 5th best team in the country. And I know they're loaded with talent, but, man, those guys have proven nothing.
I don't know. Hearing a lot of questions surrounding quarterback coming out of that Alabama camp, so that Alabama too might be a little high.
Yeah,
if you listen to Paul Feinbaum, Nick Saban's scouring the transfer portal right now for a quarterback.
Well, that could be, because the guy that Jalen Milroe, who had to sit in for Bryce Young for a full game and a half last year, certainly didn't look the part last year. Guys get better, especially when they're in that program. All right, Jason, we appreciate you stopping by. Everybody catch Jason's work, allclemsontigers.com. Jason, it's always a good time. Appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, Mark, appreciate it, man.